What up, y'all? I'm Christopher Markland, and welcome to my review/analysis of the season finale of episode 3, Ready to Love, on the OWN television network. Yo, now we know that this particular season, it had its hurdles. I mean, you had COVID, you had all kinds of other stuff, that went into them having to change how they normally would produce the show, and it kind of showed throughout the season. But overall, it was still a good season. Obviously different than previous, but still good. So, hey, let's get into it.
Real test is introducing these love interests to your family. Decision time is upon us.
I'm nervous. I need to make the right decision between Rashid and Kalfani.
So because of everything that happened with the last episode, with a lot of people leaving, it was just a lot more movement, a lot more energy from the last episode compared to this one. There really wasn't enough drama left in the tank. So for this episode, what they did, they brought in the family members of the remaining 5 people that didn't necessarily add anything to it and make the show, I guess, more exciting, but it was a good twist, if you will.
Cool. I have a lot of respect for her, so I'm gonna really hate to see her leave. So let's toast to Denise.
To Denise? Denise? All right.
Hey, it's definitely real in the field. I thought we was riding this thing out 6 deep.
Right,
6
I
floors.
know.
Hey.
That's a good number.
Now we're down
good.
to 5.
So we have the 5 remaining people. We have the will they, won't they dynamic of Anthony and Winter. And then you have the quote unquote love triangle between Rashid, Kalfani, and Adriana. That's really what the show's boiled down to with these 5 people, I guess.
I've been holding steady the fact that you're my number one. I don't need to know or hear about another man. That's you and that other person's individual business.
Right.
But I've got myself kind of out there dangling without a rope, you know what I'm saying? And I could stand to be, with egg on my face here, but that's just where I'm at with it because it's tough for guys to get to this point.
I know for a fact I could not be on this show, man. You bring your A game when you're dating. You try to put the best foot forward. Hopefully you're not just putting forward a representative, but you're putting forward the authentic you, who you are. Now, of course, you don't just jump right in. You got to learn that person and learn to trust them before you just are completely vulnerable. Now, that's something that Rashid has done, is basically been about as vulnerable as you can get. He was like that from the very first time that he saw Adriana, even though they had an interaction with a date, I think it was, before they even came on the show. Now, she ended up ghosting him, but that's another story for another day. So, he has really had Adriana as his number one from the very beginning. So think about it. You know that you're feeling somebody, and that person is also feeling somebody else. And, Kalfani, he's bringing his A game as well. So, it's difficult. I just could not see myself dating in that kind of an environment.
But I guess from you proclaiming me as your boyfriend to now, oh, y'all are even, and I don't know, it's tough. I'm just gonna have to live with the results.
Yeah. But I mean, don't say it like it's a bad. I don't know. It's just whenever.
Well, it is bad if I don't get the prize.
Right.
Yeah, I've said that Adriana is the most strategic woman, I should say, on that show. In this case, what Rashid said is 100% right. Adriana was calling Rashid her quote unquote boyfriend, saying that, she was really feeling Rashid, but that was when she was massaging the tension between Rashid and Denise, because Denise also had eyes on Kalfani, and Kalfani was at the time giving attention to Denise. So what Adriana did was basically say, hey, you know what? I need to make sure that I have alliances, if you will. And that's when she gave Rashid that attention in order to enhance the tension between the two, in order to basically exacerbate the situation and push Denise on out the door, essentially using Denise's abrasive personality against her and creating that like I said, that tension, not just between Rashid and Kalfani, but between all the other guys on the show as well.
I don't want to be hovering and all in your face because I think that's a negative.
I could feel him pulling back a little bit, and it kind of has me a little
uneasy at this point. And I don't know.
I've kind of drifted off into the ocean without a paddle, so I'm gonna have to figure out, you know, if I'm gonna be out there by myself or not.
There are times that your survival instincts kick in, fight or flight. Now, you're going to ask yourself, am I going to stay here and fight for this woman? Or am I going to be like, you know what? I'm out, deuces, and ride out. Adriana has a knack for using her femininity to overcome the fact that you need to run, dude. And that's essentially what we have going on right here with Rashid. He knows that it's time to go. He knows instinctively, he knows that, you know what, this ain't the situation for you. However, you see how Adriana just overcame all of that the rationality that Rashid was exhibiting, and instead made it emotional. And of course, you see how you just changed course.
Girl, this is a real cute scene, right? Hey! What are you doing here? Surprise!
I was so happy to see my sister, so happy to reconnect with her. She knows who I am, she knows what I like and what I dislike, so she's the perfect person to talk to Anthony and to see if this is a good decision for me.
So, like we said, all of the people left on the show, their family members are going to come through and, through conversations, I guess, get to know the other person better. My only issue is this is not the most organic way. It's not organic at all as far as how you meet someone. It doesn't come across as anything other than an interrogation, no matter how nice they may be with their questions, because it's like, all right, I'm sitting here, you sitting there, so tell me what you think about my such and such. That's just not a good way to do it. I understand that it's, in terms of this show, that's pretty much the only way you can do it. But one thing I did like about previous seasons was that they were able to go to each other's houses or apartments or whatever, and therefore at least it's a little bit different here. Being that they're operating on these circumstances, basically the family member comes in, they have to sit there and then be interrogated. Nah, that just doesn't work.
Let's talk about love.
Love.
Have you ever been in love?
No, I have not.
Okay.
Because I was in love with football at the time.
Okay.
And I was very focused on that. And once it got to that point, I'd be like, I can't do it because, you want to get married, have kids.
Yeah.
And I knew I wasn't going to do that. So it'd be selfish of me to try to hold on to her.
We kind of touched on this in a previous review. And I get where Anthony's coming from. Certain jobs, certain careers. In his case, he was an NFL player, I think it was. And like for me, when I was in the Army, it's tough to have a solid relationship when you're overseas or whatever. Something like situations such as that. However, love is learned behavior. You learn how to love. You learn how to be rejected. You learn how to maneuver within a relationship. You learn how to basically love yourself, and at the same time you're loving that other person. If you don't gain that experience, then you don't learn how to love. And it's you can't really just turn it on and be like, you know what, I'm ready to love. I get it, that's the premise of the show. However, it just doesn't necessarily work like that.
How about marriage? Do you see that happening down the road as well, or?
Listen, I'm taking it step by step. I want to make sure that, we're both on the same page when it comes to that. I'm not going to just rush right into it right now.
Oh, of course not.
But definitely, I see her.
Okay.
She definitely got the potential.
All right now.
I listen to how people answer questions, right? And what we saw Anthony do right there was not answer the question. She asked him a simple, well, I wouldn't say it's simple, but she did ask him a yes or no question. And throughout everything that he said, he didn't give a yes or a no. Now, you can talk, you can do all this, you can, whatever the case may be, but, his answer wasn't a yes or no. But what he did say was that, hey, when I feel certain things happening, I slow down or whatever, meaning he's aware of what he's getting into when it comes to, the situations that he's been in the past. He just made the decision, or he's worked the situation to a way where he doesn't necessarily have to commit. And without any real commitment, there's no love. That's what he said, and he damn sure didn't say yes or no, which was the answer, which would have been the answer to the question that he was asked.
So, girl, what you think?
I like it.
Yeah?
I like it. Fun. Fun and funny.
Fun and funny,
And I'm like, laughter is so important, and he's somebody you can just laugh with. I think that is so cool. That's why I said he can come to the cookout.
So you think he's ready to love?
Seems like he's in a place where he's open. So I would say that's something you definitely want to, I don't want to say look out for, but be aware of.
Right.
It's too short to be wasting your time, right? So that means that if you're going to be doing something, you got to do it with a purpose, especially when it comes to dating. Anthony has said on several occasions that he has never been in love. So therefore, if he was to say, okay, you know what, winner, me and you, he's going to be learning how to do it. And that's not, like I said, something that you can just jump in and do. It's learned behavior. All right. Like for me, I used to drive trucks. I drove trucks in the Army. When I got out, drove here, whatever. I've been driving. So I know I've got about maybe 2 million miles, give or take, under my belt throughout my whole lifetime between driving trucks, cars, motorcycles, tanks, whatever. I've driven vehicles for that long. And when you drive in the United States, there's a certain way you do it. You drive on the right side of the road. Now, I'm from Jamaica, never drove a car in Jamaica until I went back there a couple of years ago. And it's completely different. You're driving on the left side of the road. You're sitting on the left side of, the right side of the car. It's a whole different experience. So even with all of my past experience of driving vehicles, it ain't like it was my first time ever getting behind the wheel of a car. It was something completely new to me. And as such, I kept reverting to my past behavior. So I'm sitting there driving and everybody's like, yo, why the hell are these cars on the quote unquote wrong side of the road? No, my dumb ass wasn't used to that. So I reverted to driving back on the right side, which is in oncoming traffic. It was a dangerous situation to be in because of the lack of familiarity that I had with driving or operating a vehicle in that environment. It's no different than what Anthony's saying here with his, lack of experience, lack of operating in love. It's not something that you can just learn instantly. And I get the premise of the show. However, it's not something that you can just do. You have to learn how to love because you learn from the pain that is love. You learn about heartache. You learn about breaking up. You learn about how you process your feelings, process your emotions. You learn about how you give of yourself to be with that other person, which is what love is. And you trust that they're going to be there to catch you when you're giving of yourself, you're falling into them. You hope that they catch you and vice versa when they fall into you. Until you've been through that, you don't know it. And that's why I think it's really a dangerous situation that Anthony and Winter are in right now.
I decided to call my sister and get some advice from her versus bringing her down, because I typically introduce women to my family that I know I'm in a relationship with. But since I didn't know whether or not I wanted to continue this process, I didn't want to put Adriana in that position or my sister.
Oh, I 100% agree with this, man. You don't just bring any and everybody around your family. I get it. You may be feeling them. You may have, a not strong connection to them. But until you know them, you don't bring them around your family. One, your family can be super duper protective of you. And if they don't necessarily like the person that you bring around, they may drive them away by doing certain things, saying certain things, whatever, So until you develop something with that person, you don't necessarily need to be bringing them around your family. I 100% agree with Rashid on that.
Her feeling towards me has kind of wavered. She's feeling another gentleman. They always credit women with intuition. Well, men, we got gut feelings too. And when I get to the point where I feel I have to sell myself or I have to convince you to get off one side of the fence or the other, that changes from courting to chasing. And if I feel I'm switching to chasing, then I'm gonna remove myself every time.
I think it's gonna be the theme for this show is trust your gut. Man, if you send them a text and you gotta wait 30 minutes and an hour before you get a reply back and the reply is some dry ass, okay, sure. The one word answers, you done typed out a whole damn soliloquy and they come back with a, okay, nah, you know what it is. If you, ask them out like, hey, what you doing Friday? I don't know. Or, hey, you wanna do something? We'll see. Or, those little cold responses, you know where their energy is. So you got to meet that, match it, and be like, you know what? I'm going to fall back. You shouldn't have to chase somebody down to give them your affection. You shouldn't have to run behind somebody to give them attention. If they're not giving what, returning what you're giving, fall back. Leave it alone. It ain't for you. They're literally telling you how they feel about you. It's just up to you to listen to what they're saying.
So what would make someone as gorgeous as you come to this experience to find love?
I was meeting guys who were not at the same place that I was. Mm-hmm. They were not ready to move to the next level.
His relationships are a little different. A few of them I couldn't even call relationships. They were just really good friends for long times.
Okay.
Because he's been preaching super single for a few years. I'm talking super single.
So we meet Anthony's sister, Tanya, and she's telling Winter about Anthony's past relationships, which is reaffirming what he himself has already said, but also one of the things that Winter's sister picked up on as well. Winter said that, the men that she's dated don't want to commit. Y'all, Anthony's been saying that. He's saying that, when it gets to a certain point, I don't commit in order to love that person. So once, like I keep saying, it's a little bit dangerous right here for Winter, because Anthony is telling her that based on his past behavior, this is how he has moved. I'm not saying that the brother can't change. I'm not saying that he can't grow, because all men, when we reach a certain point, it's like, you know what, it's time to settle down. However, like I've said before, that's not something that you just, hey, ready to love. It don't work that way.
I don't want to play when it comes down to this and be hurting people's feelings and stuff. So that's why I've been so standoffish. You're not going to rush me. Like, I'm sorry. Can't nobody rush me, just like nobody don't want to be rushed.
I get what Anthony's saying, but why do you have to play with somebody, if you're in that kind of a relationship with them? And, I get you don't want to hurt people's feelings, but I hate to say it, y'all, if you've been in love, you're going to get hurt. Even if that person it's not an intentional thing that they are doing, but in the process of loving somebody, you're going to hurt them. But what you do is you learn from that. But the only way you can learn it is to be in it. If you've never loved somebody, then you don't know those things. And, you don't necessarily have to open your heart up at the very beginning and be like, I love that person. No, you can grow into it. But at the same time, because you are scared to love, you then are not vulnerable. So you go 20 years without being vulnerable, like Denise did. There's a balance to it, but you have got to at least get in the game if you want to develop and actually find someone that you can love.
You feel like you're in there with the family?
Well,
like you made a good impression?
Well, she invited me to the cookout.
Okay.
So
all right then.
If you get invited to the cookout,
look, you good. You good.
I'm still feeling the same with Winter. The vibes are great. Well, it's tough because I guess I've been so guarded when it comes to my heart per se. Like this is a struggle. It's a bunch of pressure. I'm sorry, and I don't like this type of pressure.
Pressure bust pipes and create diamonds, baby.
We've heard Anthony say this before, where he doesn't like, the pressure's on and he doesn't like the pressure. No, nobody does. Nobody wants to be forced into, a relationship or forced into a situation. But quite honestly, that's what's happened here. Because of how things move, Denise is gone, this person's gone, whatever. He's basically left in this situation. It wasn't like he actively went out and sought, after Winter. It just so happened. In fact, I think she approached him. I think that her interest in him started way back when he took his shirt off at the pool, and she was like, "Oh, wait a minute, where you come from?" That kind of thing. I don't really recall him going actively after somebody. I think it's more things just fell into place, and now that it's right here, there's a certain pressure for him to act, and I don't think he operates well in those types of situations.
We've been here over 8 weeks now, so it's almost like there's not one more date that I can go on to. Right. There's not one date he can do. There's not one more I can say, because at that point, it feels like I'm trying to prove myself or sell myself to you. Because I felt like, okay, dang, I've done everything, so what else is there for me to do? Because I never want to feel like my courting of you turns into my chasing of you. Because if that's the case, then I'll remove myself from the situation.
8 weeks, y'all, 2 months. In that span of time, you should know where that person stands with you, and they definitely should know where you stand with them. So if you don't know, or if you telling that person, because think about it, Rashid has put his cards on the table not once, not twice. I don't know. It's been a couple times where he said, "Yo, Adriana, you're my number one. You're who I'm feeling. What's up?" And she's babbled on about something and something doing with something and the gravitational pull of Mars or something. She doesn't say, "Hey, you know what? I'm feeling the same." If you've put 2 months, you've expended energy 2 months into a person and you're not getting that in return, deuces, it's time to bounce. You know, like we just talked about, wasting time. Don't waste your time. Fall back, put your energy into other things, into other people. It's time to go.
There's no anger or resentment towards you or him. I close deals every day. I don't want to have to try to close deals with my heart.
For me, it comes across more so like you're giving up. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Not necessarily to compare it fully, but just to give you an example. Like when me and Kelfani talked before, and he's like, "Hey, I know he's your number one. I know this." Mm-hmm. But he's like, "But I have a connection with you, and I'm going to do whatever I got to do to get there." You know?
Yeah.
It's just.
He is giving up. That's a part of breaking up. You're literally saying, "Hey, I don't want this no more. I am giving up. No mas. I don't want to be a part of this relationship. Here are my reasons why." Or if you even give him a reason, be like, "Hey, I'm done. I'm through." You're literally giving up. It's not up to her. It's his decision. And if that's how he felt, he should have manned up and stuck to that. But instead, some kind of way, it ended up with her saying, "Hey, stay." No, no. When you're ready to go, go.
For her to say that, I have to take it in, that constructive criticism or critique, and look at it at face value.
I'm still here, and I want you to be here.
I know. I 1,000% believe you. It's not. I know you're not playing me.
Yeah,
I know you would never do that.
I really, because I was like, how could it be chasing? It's not chasing.
No, I know. Because there's a difference for fighting for you versus chasing you. And we kind of hit the ground running, and it was a sprint. But this thing is kind of a marathon.
Say it again, man. Trust your gut. You telling somebody your feelings is not a progress report for them to critique, for you to say like, "Hey, that's good feedback." Hell, I don't need your feedback. Those are my damn feelings. That's how you feel. Okay? Now it's up to you to accept it. Well, hell, you either accept it or you don't. Those are my feelings. That is what it is. Now, he's put all that on the table and told her, "Hey, I think, that this is over with," but instead it got changed into some other mess. And we started out in a sprint, but this is a marathon. Y'all, even in a marathon, if you're running, you got a running partner, y'all are keeping pace with each other. So if one person's not able to keep the pace, they're gonna fall back. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You just keep moving and you be like, "Hey, good luck, see you in the end. I can't go no further." But that's not what happened here. And this is just not a good move for Rashid at all.
Yeah.
So,
I'm excited for you to meet my dad.
Okay, I get to meet Pops.
But you're here with me?
Huh?
So you're here with me now?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm still here.
Okay.
When she mentioned that she wanted me to meet her dad, I know that's a big deal. So, hey, could still possibly have something here. Maybe you boys should stick around a little bit longer. I want to meet Pops.
Yeah?
I'm hanging in, so I'm going to go down with a fight.
Yeah?
So before they even got on the show, we don't know how long ago it was, but they had a date or whatever, and she ended up ghosting him. Now she's got him fighting this uphill battle against Kalfani. The man found his strength and be like, "Hey, you know what? This isn't for me. I'm gonna go ahead and self-eliminate, so you can go do your thing with Kalfani." But instead, she basically talked him into staying. It's something about the fact that he has ceded a lot of emotional power to Adriana, that even if they were to work something out, they're not on an equal footing because he's given up so much to be with her. There's something about a balance of power in a relationship. It's a give and take. I'm strong in this area, you're strong in another, but we still are on the same equal footing. And throughout this entire process, he has not been equal with her. He's given up a lot, and because of that, he's just become safe. That's not a good place to be. I know that, he's big into sports, as far as being a basketball player or whatever. Most athletes don't quit. You know, that's just how they're built. You know what I'm saying? They just don't quit. They're gonna fight to the end, and if they lose, they lose. It's an honorable loss. Hey, good game, you beat me. You know, no big deal. But they're not gonna quit in the middle of the game. And I think that, because of that, because of the honorable way that Rashid seems to approach things, he doesn't want to quit. And I think that Adriana kind of used that a little bit to her advantage. Be like, hey, it feels like you're quitting right now. And that's why he's like, you know what? That's good critique. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I'm not quitting. He's gonna stay. It's not healthy for him at this point to stay in this particular situation with Adriana and Kalfani.
I've narrowed it down to two.
Well, here's one of them now.
There's one of them.
Kalfani.
Nice to meet you.
Rashid,
James, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Yo, this was pretty interesting to me, right? I saw this when Kalfani came down. Adriana's dad leaned into the handshake, right? When he being Adriana's dad met Kalfani, not Kalfani, Rashid leaned into him. There's a little thing about a power dynamic when it comes to men, right? You can only operate but so much space. And when you enter into somebody else's space, they either move forward to meet you, so therefore it's a little bit of an aggression. They either stay still because they're comfortable with where they are, or they're forced to kind of lean back, right? But the person who leans in, they're usually the aggressor, because think about it, that's a more aggressive gesture. So, and not necessarily aggressor, they're the more dominant. Let me use that word. So what we saw there was, that's Adriana's dad. He knows that, hell, he is basically the position that these two gentlemen, Kalfani and Rashid, are trying to get, which is for Adriana's caretaker, if you will. So because of that, he comes from a position of strength. He leaned into Kalfani. Now, don't get me wrong, Kalfani didn't back up, but it was, and also the table was there between them, but there was still that gesture, the dominance that came from that. However, on the flip side, if you notice, Rashid leaned in. The dad, of course, he didn't back off either. You know, he met it, but it's just something about the energy that is given off. It's a small thing. It's very subtle, but the person that leans in usually is taking charge. It's a controlling gesture, because I'm coming at you. Either you're gonna meet me, you're gonna back up, or you're gonna, it's just, like I said, it was a subtle little thing between the interaction between those three men.
What do you do for a hobby?
For a hobby? I heard he's a therapist. Oh, he's not sitting in there trying to psychoanalyze me or anything like that. Traveling and bodybuilding.
Bodybuilding, okay.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of body language, look at the body language, or at least the connection of Adriana and Kalfani as they're sitting on the couch. They look like a couple. Now, Kalfani's body language, he just seems to be leaning forward. You can tell he's uncomfortable, but he's already a big dude on a small couch, and then you have her beside him. But that's neither here nor there. The whole vibe to me, just looking at that interaction, was like, you remember back in high school, your teenage years or whatever, the dude goes over to pick her up for the first date or whatever, right? So the dad is like, yo, so what you trying to do with my daughter? He's there looking at them. That's the vibe that we got. However, the connection with Kalfani and Adriana was there. They were literally elbow to elbow. There was that contact. It's just something reassuring of knowing that that person is beside you. On the flip side, let's look at Rashid and Adriana. It was a more casual setting, mind you. They were playing pool, so there's continuous motion. They're never there's not a situation where they're just going to be beside each other. So because of that, it was definitely more relaxed. But because it was more relaxed, you can't be relaxed and intimate at the same time, if you will, right? So, or casual and intimate, the two don't necessarily line up. And that definitely showed with Rashid and Adriana in their setting around the pool table versus Kalfani and Adriana on the couch.
Where do you find your centeredness?
With my spirituality, I would say.
So when you say spirituality, what do you say?
I would say anytime life throws me curveballs or anything, I get on my knees and pray.
Good.
And talk to the Lord about it.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear you say that.
You look like you played some football?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I played free safety.
Okay.
Historical Black College.
Really?
Yeah.
I went to HBCU as well.
Really? What state?
Alabama A&M
Alabama?
University.
I was in Arkansas.
Arkansas,
PB.
Pine Bluff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's all right.
You can like somebody, and then you can accept somebody. I think that Adriana's dad liked Rashid. He's a real personable dude, and we've seen him display that. He can talk to anybody. I mean, that's just his personality. He is a, high-end car broker, and from one salesperson to another, I see that. I really do. You have to be able to converse with anybody, anytime, any place, any setting, and you can't really show that you're uncomfortable, because if you're not confident in who you are, then you're not inspiring confidence to make the sale. So that's one thing. We've seen Rashid have conversations where he gets, remember he had a conversation with Alex. I think he had a date with Winner. He definitely connected with Simone, and he got them, I won't say he got them to open up, but they were comfortable speaking with him, and they were able to have good back and forth conversations. He has that natural energy about him. So we see that, he was able to build a rapport with Adriana's father, and it showed. However, it was a different dynamic when we looked at how Kalfani and Adriana's father, kind of sort of interacted. It seemed that he was there more to give his blessing. So as such, he had to ask certain questions to make sure that Kalfani was acceptable. It wasn't necessarily, hey, I like you as a man. It was more like, you know what? All right, I can see you with my daughter. I see you're not a axe murderer. You're not going, throw in the back of the trunk or nothing like that. I accept you. Whereas when he was dealing with Rashid, he liked him. And it was obvious to me. It was.
He said some great things, and he noticed all the great things, and he noticed all the reasons why I was attracted to you and why I liked you and why we were drawn to each other. But at the same time, he also noticed some of the things that I noticed too. How did you feel about Rashid?
He's very outgoing. He's energetic. Those are positive, strong qualities about Rashid that I was impressed with. When I was looking at the chemistry, though, between you and he, I didn't really feel that.
So yeah, what Adriana just said was true. The chemistry wasn't there. She hasn't displayed that true affection for Rashid for a minute, and her dad picked up on that. He's a therapist, so I mean, he's able to, at least you would hope that he's trained to pick up on certain things, how people interact, their body language, how they look at each other, how they feel about each other. And from what he saw, what we've all seen, it wasn't there.
I feel like I just hate that it got to this point. And I hate that we weren't able to really just stay as strong as we were all the way through. And so now I feel like I'm going to move forward with Kalfani.
Life happens.
As a Jamaican man, I got plenty job them, all right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 job and have them all, right? So I know I know about having a job, and I know the power that comes with quitting a job, meaning resigning. Hey, you know what? Here's my 2 weeks. I'm through because I have a better opportunity somewhere else, or I just don't want to be here, but I'm not going to just walk, I'm just not going to leave without doing it the right way. I'm talking to you. I'm letting you know that I'm resigning. I'm giving you 2 weeks in case you need somebody to fill my position, whatever the case may be. There's a whole different feeling that comes from being fired. Nobody wants to be fired. Rashid had the opportunity to resign and walk off on his own, but instead he stayed and is now being fired. The good thing is he's a good dude. So therefore he's handling it with class, he's handling it with dignity, but at the end of the day, he still got fired, and he honestly should have left a long time ago. He really should have left Adriana a long time ago, but he stayed there, and now you see what happened.
Do you feel like you're really here for love, or?
It's very hard, and for me to because trust me, I'm romantic.
Okay.
But I already know once I make that decision, I don't want to be backfiring and be like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. no, I want to be, once I make that commitment, oh, they going to get all the love, all that romantic, everything. But right now, I have just put that kind of that wall up right there right now because I'm just like, I want to make sure.
Y'all want ranch? What? Blue cheese? Honey mustard? Just let me know what kind of dressing y'all want for that word salad that Anthony just threw out there, because he did all kinds of talking, but didn't answer the question with a simple yes or no. So what's the question? Do you feel that you are really here for love? It's a yes or no. It ain't got nothing to do with you being romantic. It ain't got. Those are just gestures. We're talking about, are you here to be ready to love? It's not that hard. Yes or no. And then also the fact that it's the final week, the next day they're supposed to make their selections or whatever, and she's still asking that question. That to me is problematic, but we can kind of slide on that. Maybe she just wanted to verify, to reassure herself that, hey, this is the right track that I'm on. But he did not answer the question again.
Today, our two final couples have set a time and a place to come together. They'll decide if their connection will now become a commitment. Will they move forward in life together or not? It's time to find out if these two couples are ready to love.
So now that Adriana has made her decision regarding Rashid and says that she's going to focus on Kalfani, that means that obviously Rashid's journey has come to an end. So with that, that leaves us with two couples. We now have Kalfani and Adriana, and we also have Anthony and Winter. I'll be honest, y'all, this isn't the most fulfilling ending or finale of this show. It's like these couples, I guess they're good, but I really don't have any emotion. I don't have anything invested in them and seeing them work out. It's just something about it. It's like, yeah, I wish them the best if they do end up staying together, but it's like I said, it's just unfulfilling.
This journey has been quite an adventurous one, but I just feel like it all happened for a reason. And, with me never being in love before, I definitely believe, I am ready to love.
I know you're ready to love, but are you ready to love me?
Yes, I'm ready.
So Anthony says that he is ready to love. That's what Winter wanted to hear. I know one of the things that she did like about him was that he is honest. He does, give her exactly what he feels, and he's telling his true, honest, authentic feelings. That's a good thing. Wish him the best.
I talked to Rashid.
All right.
And I let him know that I think that he's ready to love, but he's not ready to love me.
What? So what you said?
So, I think that you're the one I want.
Oh.
And I know that. Oh.
Oh no, I'm not sure if it's not the other way around in that she wasn't ready to love him, but I'm not gonna pick that nit. At the end of the day, Adriana and Kalfani pretty much chose each other. That's who they are gonna be moving forward with. Congratulations.
It's toast to us, new friendships, new relationships, and long-lasting love.
All right.
Lasting love. I like it.
So with that, season 3 has come to an end. All of these couples that we started, or all of the people that we started with, I should say, have now come down to the final 2 couples. And we have one more show left, the reality show. I think it's next week. Like I said, this season, it had its issues, and it's just indicative of the times that we're living in. Overall, it wasn't that bad. So, hey, I appreciate everybody being here with me. Like I've been telling y'all, my Markland Mondays show is back, which means just, hey, follow me on Instagram. You can also follow me on Facebook. Both of those are at author Christopher Markland. And also follow me on Twitter author_Chris M. Like I said, with my Marketing Mondays, we discuss topics that deal with dating, relationships, just the BS that comes with life, all kinds of different topics. In fact, next week's topic or Monday coming up, we're going to be talking about consistency. I know that's something that a lot of women that I've spoken with have said that that's the one thing that they have a problem with when it comes with men. In fact, Rashid kind of hinted at it as well, where you start out as a sprint when in reality a relationship is a marathon. So you start off fast and then you taper off. You got to be consistent. We're going to talk about that on the next Marketing Monday show. So make sure, like I said, jump on other social media platforms, join the conversation. Y'all, it has been fun. I have definitely enjoyed doing this. Cannot wait to see season 4. I don't even know where that's going to be. Lord knows, I hope it's not in Atlanta. But we're definitely going to do the reunion show as well. So y'all stay determined. See y'all next week.